Welcome back. I'm Emily at Emily's podcast, Tribute to All Little Angels, Part 7, Episode 8 of the Timeline. August 7th, 2023. Waking up and getting out of bed, I know I have to record. After I ate breakfast and cleaned up some, I start recording. I am about halfway through and I'm interrupted, so I stopped. I paused the recording to enter the room about 30 minutes later, and the recording is still playing. Recording nothing. I have to start again. These are the times when I'm already on my third or fourth try, and now I have to do it all over again. Redo it from the beginning. It'll be all right though, even if I have to start over a dozen times, which I have. I will. I will keep moving forward to get it done. The story told. August 8th, 2023. Thank God my eyes are open. I did get the episode recorded last night, well, into the evening hours. So today I will regroup to get my thoughts right, my stress level lower, and just kick back to relax. Have a great day. August 9th, 2023. A sad day already. A friend of mine's son was killed last night in a high-speed chase hit and run. We gathered at a fence near the area and hung flowers and placed keepsakes near where it happened. I feel so bad for the family. And over nonsense. Absolute nonsense. May he rest in peace. At 9:54 p.m., my sister Susie sent me the numbers of who has joined and are listening to the podcast. Very thankful, very appreciative. Thank you. August 10th, 2023. This morning, waking up, I'm thinking I will go to the cemetery today. So after I had breakfast and cleaned a little, I did just that. At 1:54 p.m., I visit with Wyatt. I sat with him a while. I feel the peace here today for some reason. It's quiet, and not to sound selfish or anything, but I like it like this. When I left Wyatt's area, I pull around to visit Megan. I sat with Megan and looked over the area. I stayed with Megan for a while also, and then I went to the car. As I'm leaving the cemetery, I see a cardinal fly past my car. I glance at it, and when I seen it, I got a tear in my eye and told my angels I loved them. When I turned the corner off of the west side of the cemetery to turn east, I looked for it, and I couldn't see it anymore. So I left the cemetery, and I'm definitely feeling happy I saw that bird. Thank you, my angels. I then went home, and at 8:54 p.m., Susie, my sister, sent me another update of the podcast numbers. And yes, they've gone up again. I'm happy for that too. August 11th, 2023. I'm thankful for this day. My eyes are open, and as my afternoon moves on, I see something that said, Emily, you need to stop worrying and just relax. And when I see things like this, and especially with what's going on in my life at this time, it hits hard. I wish I could. August 12th, 2023. Waking up this morning, it feels like it will be a hot day today. The pool workers are still working on the pool, so no matter how hot it is, there's no swimming. So I thought I'm going to take a drive and drive through the cemetery. At 3:54 p.m., I pull up to Wyatt. I didn't get out of the car, but I sat near him for about 10 minutes. Then I went to visit Megan. I didn't get out of the car in her area either, but I did sit with her for a while too. A short time later, I left the cemetery and went home. I started to write, and I wrote the episode for the podcast, and then I went to bed. August 13th, 2023. Today I'm going to try to record the episode, and later I will go to the cemetery and let off a balloon, or maybe a couple balloons, for my dad's birthday. I will go to the cemetery before I record. Then I will try to relax. Happy birthday, Dad. August 14th, 2023. Good morning, or I hope it would be. I did not get the episode for the podcast recorded, so I will be busy today. August 15th, 2023. Thank you, dear God. I start my day to write a story or two, and then I drove to the cemetery, and at 3:42 p.m. I visit with Wyatt. The weather is mild today, so I clean up around his headstone. I straightened his flowers in his vase, and then sat down in the grass to visit with him for a little bit. A short time later, I pull around to visit Megan. I sat in the car when I first pulled up and just looked out over her area. And of course, I had to cry. And in a little while, I got out of the car and walked over to the existing tree and stood just west of it. I straightened Megan's flowers that are stuck in the ground, and then I sat on a bench-type headstone and just thought. And of course, I pray. I cry. Then I watched a car pass by, and it helped me to compose myself. I then stood and walked back to the car and sat a little bit longer, and then left the cemetery. August 17th, 2023. Beautiful blue sky this morning. I got right up and got ready for the day, and this afternoon I made a trip to the cemetery. I visit with Megan today because when I pull in, there are quite a bit of cars to the back of the cemetery near Wyatt's area. So I just sat with Megan. I sat, I watched, and I watched cars go by, and I'm here with Megan when I grabbed my phone and I turned it on, and there's a saying on my screen that says, God knows you're tired. Pray, wait, trust, blessed. And for a split minute, I thought, I do pray, I do wait, and the trust in God is always there. But the trust of what became is where I have that nagging question. Why? After a while of sitting with Megan, I see more cars leave, and when there was just a few cars left, I pull up to Wyatt's area. I walk over to Wyatt's headstone and I stand to visit him. I pray to him and I talk to him, and I stand there to notice any sign that one of my angels may send me. And a short time later, I see a butterfly. It flew by and then around the area south of where I'm standing, and I watched it for a short time. And then I walked back to the car and I drove around to the east side of the cemetery and then left. I drove home. August 18th, 2023. Good morning. Thank you, God. And I'm thinking this morning I have a few errands to do, so while I'm out, I will go to the cemetery. I did, and then drove home. This evening, I start writing an episode for next week's Wednesday. I spent about an hour and a half on it and then said goodnight. August 19th, 2023. My Saturday morning and afternoon has been quiet. So I spent time on the episode. I finally got it done. About 6 this evening. I cooked some dinner, and when I sat to relax before going to bed, I looked through pictures. I found the picture of the casket vault combination. I found by looking up what one looks like, and the more and more I look at the very first white combo casket in the picture, the examples, other than the design, it looks similar to the one we buried Megan in. This picture was screenshotted on February 9th, 2023. Then as I'm scrolling through other pictures, I found 2 pictures of information written to remind me of. And I'm very happy when I came across papers or pictures to add to the storyline. August 20th, 2023. Thank you, God, for opening my eyes this morning. It's a hot one today. I'm staying in, staying cool. August 22nd, 2023. Today I'm thankful. I'm going to the cemetery to check on things. The sky is clear and the temperature is a few degrees cooler, so not too bad right now. At 1:46 p.m., I went to visit Megan and Wyatt. I first drove back to visit Wyatt, and I got out of the car and walked over to his headstone. I sat with him, and the sun beating down on me felt good to warm my skin. But the heat beating down got too hot. I sat with Wyatt for a matter of a few more minutes, and I went to the car and drove around to visit Megan. As I pull up to Megan's area to park, the car has now little black bugs all over my front window and the side window. We have dealt with these kind of bugs here before, so I knew not to get out of the car. They cling to you and to your clothing. So I sit with Megan inside my car and visit with her. I said, "Thank you, my angels," and then left the cemetery. When I arrive home, I clean up some to cook dinner, to then relax. August 23rd, 2023. My first thought this morning after I told God thank you is the episode airs this evening on my podcast. Every week, a new episode and a new chance to find that person, the person to help. Give the advice. Point me in that right direction. Anything positive. As I'm out running errands, I did drive through the cemetery. I'm in the area, so why not? And all seems all right, except that time Megan's flowers are gone. But right now, we deal with it and replace them. August 24th, 2023. Thank you, God. That's all. August 25th, 2023. This morning I'm awake. I work on the episode for this next week, and I feel a need to get done, and my weekend will be busy, so I'm thinking I can get it done this afternoon and be able to get done this weekend too. The pressure is on. I spent most of the afternoon writing off and on, and at 8:47 p.m., when I finished, I see and read a saying, and it said, "Written by unknown. What seems overwhelming now will be your testimony later." I thought about it for a second, and I flipped the page, and I see and read, "Just breathe. Everything is going to be okay. Then I thought, wow. August 26, 2023. My weekend begins. August 27th, 2023. My weekend ends, and at 6:40 p.m. I went to visit the cemetery before going home. I pull up on the east side of the cemetery and visit Wyatt. I did take a picture from afar of his headstone, and after sitting with Wyatt for a few minutes, I pull around to visit Megan. As I pull up, I start taking pictures, and this first picture, is a full view picture. Megan's flowers are still here, so there's no complaint there, and thank you for that. There's also a few clouds in this picture, and when I look at clouds, I look for figures, I look for shapes, and as I'm looking in this cloud, to me, it looks like a small, short-legged dinosaur in the biggest cloud. In the next picture is, as I'm pulling up, I noticed a line from the newly set in small drain to the south. It could be for the water to drain, but when I saw it, and after I took the first picture, I backed up toward the south to take this picture. The third picture is taken from the south to the existing tree and along the west of the street. The track in the grass is also in this picture. The fourth picture is an up-close picture of Megan's resting plot area. Her flowers are stuck in the ground west of the existing tree. And then the next picture, the fifth picture, is a close-up of the rock headstone. And believe it or not, the dark areas around this rock headstone is still visible. And if only the grounds could talk. The sixth picture is an up-close picture of the rock headstone taken from the west to the east, and the dark areas are still there. In the seventh picture is a full view of the area, but there is a green aura in this picture. Then the eighth picture, I'm in the car looking west towards the small drain, the black and white Babyland sign, the double headstones, the blue and white Babyland 6th West sign, and the existing tree, and then of course Megan's flowers stuck in the ground west of the tree, with a space between the existing tree and Megan's flowers. And that empty space is where the rock headstone should be at rest. And to be looking out toward this area, my heart breaks over and over again, knowing the truth. And I overly repeated, and I repeated, and I know people do listen. I know that because of the podcast numbers. But the people that should care are ignoring it. And to think, all they had to do at the beginning is fix it, and we could have all moved on. But then, well, you all know. When I left the cemetery, I go home, and it feels good to be here. August 28, 2023. This morning, waking up and getting out of bed, I am going to relax because I need to. And then this evening, if I feel like it and not too tired, I will record the episode for this week. Everyone have a good day. August 29th, 2023. No recording yesterday, so that is what I did today. August 30th, 2023. After resting some, and after I woke up this morning, I visit the cemetery. This time I was able to get out of the car. I'm not bombarded by black bugs today, or right now anyway. Megan's area feels calm. I visit with her for a little while. I walked around Babyland 6 West to observe the area, and after a short time I went to visit Wyatt, and all seems all right for him too. Well, for what I can tell or see. But I do know in my heart, not all is all right, because my angels are not at rest. Megan more than Wyatt, but they are not resting, and neither do a lot of them. Sad, but true. Later this evening, after getting home from the cemetery, Madison sends me a few pictures of the moon, and then I went outside and took a couple more pictures above the rooftops of the houses. They are nice pictures. August 31st, 2023. Bright and early this morning, I receive an update of the podcast numbers. This morning at 7:44 a.m., we are climbing up, and we are up by a lot. And when I see these numbers and the podcast numbers climb the way they do, I pray, I hope. September 1st, 2023. Wow, I'm not sure what is going on. I'm emotional. I have to ask, why am I crying? I get it. I get some days I can be all right, then the next day or the next minute, not so much. It's so darn frustrating. Then I have to think, what have I done to be having and feeling these feelings? I'm only the messenger, someone to tell the truth. They don't have a voice. That's why God let me take all the pictures over the years, and I'm grateful He did. September 2nd, 2023. I'm thankful to be alive. After I start my day, I start writing an episode for the podcast. I hope to get it done this afternoon, and then tomorrow I can relax and or go to a friend's house to help him with his bills and such. But I will see how the writing goes today. Before I got started, I went to get an iced tea and I drove to the cemetery. I took some snacks with me so I'm able to sit in my car and spend time with Megan and Wyatt. I had some fruit chews and some Cheez-It crackers. It went great with my iced tea, but it all is so worth it. After I left the cemetery, I went home to write. I did get the episode written, and I'm grateful for that. September 3rd, 2023. On this beautiful morning, thank you, God. As I start my day, I thought I could record, then I will find time over the next 2 days to get other things done. But no, I did not get a chance to record today, but I will tomorrow. I did help a friend with his bills and I drove him to the stores, and it is a nice afternoon and day. So we did get it done. And when we were finished, I took him back home and then I went home. And later this evening, I talked with my sister Susie on the phone, and she talked of how she's still trying to find new things for our podcast. It's a learning process for the two of us, and interesting. After we hung up, I'm ready for bed. Have a great night. September 4th, 2023. Guess what I did today? I recorded the podcast. I got it done after more than a few tries, but the main thing is it's done. It's recorded. And when I was done, I went to the store to grab a few things and got back home to relax. Thank you for this day. September 5th, 2023. This morning, waking up, I have a feeling I need to go to the cemetery. At times I get these premonitions to go, And now, when I get these feelings, I go. I dismissed it once on November 21st, 2019. I didn't get up at 3:03 a.m. when I was woke up to go, or at least the feeling to go. I didn't go, and still to this day I have to ask, if I would have got up and went out there at that time, what would I have found? Because I know the very next morning, a few minutes after 8 a.m., I did go to the cemetery and I find two men working on the East-West Street corner of Megan's area, widening the East-West Street. This is the same morning the picture was taken of the two men working and the long pole is laying in the grass. Wow, it makes me wonder, and probably always will. Then my regret. I should have went. I did go to the cemetery to check on things. Everything seeming all right. When I left the cemetery and returned home, I cleaned up some from the pool workers and then relaxed the rest of the evening. September 6, 2023. Another episode airs tonight. Bless this episode to be the one. Bless you to be the one. Thank you for listening. Stay kind with your words.